children and 2 teachers, and many other kids living with the emotional havoc of watching their friends die. Jordan Ligas is in the 4th grade.
That could have been me. I could have got shot too. But then that's when I finally realized, that's when I started crying.
Investigators believe that 18-year-old Salvador Ramos shot and killed his grandmother before loading his guns into his truck and driving to the school. He would later die in a shootout with police. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Uvalde, Texas.
We're told the shooter's grandmother's in critical condition. ABC's Ika Jachi has more from Washington.
The violence in Uvalde coming less than 2 weeks after 10 people were killed in Buffalo. The FBI reporting 212 mass shootings in the U.S. in the first 144 days of the year. But Uvalde marks the deadliest school shooting in nearly 10 years, reminding the nation of the Sandy Hook tragedy and the call to action that came a decade ago. Since Sandy Hook, Congress has tried and failed to pass gun control legislation.
President Biden addressing the nation.
Most Americans support common sense laws, common sense gun laws.
Calling for a renewal of the assault weapons ban, saying that an 18-year-old kid shouldn't be able to go into a store and buy an assault weapon. Results from several primaries.
In Georgia, it was a Trump versus Pence endorsement showdown in the governor's race. Incumbent Brian Kemp defeated Trump-backed David Perdue in the race for governor. Kemp, endorsed by former Vice President Pence, infuriated Trump when he refused to overturn Joe Biden's win in the state in 2020. Kemp will now face Stacey Abrams again in November. In 2018, Kemp beat Abrams by just 55,000 votes.
That's ABC's Andrea Fujii. You're listening to ABC News.
Have you ever thought you'd like to buy and sell houses but didn't know how or where to get the money? My name is Ron LeGrand, and over the past 40 years, I've bought over 3,000 houses without using my money or credit and taught thousands to do the same. Today, even in a virtual environment, we buy nice houses in nice neighborhoods using no banks, realtors, contractors, or other costly entanglements, and build huge cash flow and wealth without the hassle of tenants, all without credit and little or no money. You don't need a license or experience, and I'll show you exactly how it's done. Text FREE to 99799 and I'll send you my free training. I promise I'll change the way you think about real estate and open the door to a new lifestyle that doesn't involve risk or rehabs and can quickly replace your current income. Text FREE to 99799 and let me show you how to take your life back and build cash flow and wealth from your home. That's FREE to 99799. Again, text FREE to 99799.
Fighting in Ukraine fierce lately in the Donbas region in the southeastern part of the country. ABC's Ian Pannell at a hospital near the front lines.
This is an increasingly difficult situation here for soldiers and civilian alike. The kind of ordnance that the Russians are throwing into the area means catastrophic injuries. They're trying to stabilize them here and then move them on to bigger hospitals in safer locations.
Ukraine's president now says his country will not give up land in return for an end to the war. Several American military bases bearing names with Confederate ties now in for a change.
The list of name changes recommended by the Army includes several well-known bases. North Carolina's Fort Bragg would be renamed to Fort Liberty. And in Texas, Fort Hood would become Fort Cavazos after the first Hispanic four-star general. Vice Chair of the Naming Commission, retired Army Brigadier General Ty Sejouli, says the names are mostly after individuals with ties to Army history.
Every name either originated from or resonated with the local communities.
Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
An Iraqi man living in Ohio is accused of plotting to kill former President George W. Bush. Prosecutors believe the 52-year-old suspect was trying to get 4 more people into the country to help. Authorities alerted when he talked to an FBI informant. For the first time, a potential case of monkeypox is being reported in California. The patient is in Sacramento County. This is ABC News.
Do you owe the IRS $8,000 or more? Are you a few years behind on your filing? Are you going through an audit and have no idea what to do? You need an ally, fast. Ally's Tax Relief Negotiators can protect you from all IRS collections, but have you called them today? Their team of enrolled agents, tax attorneys, and CPAs are your allies to fix all your tax problems. Take the first step to getting the IRS off your back. Call Ally's Tax Relief today for a free consultation. 800-957-0325. Ally's Tax Relief. 800-957-0325.
Dave Packer, ABC News.
It's the time of year to come to NC Tractor for the selection of Massey Ferguson tractors and Bobcat zero-turn mowers. NC Tractor gives fantastic customer service, the best discounts possible, and it's a locally owned business. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue is helping to make outdoor work more enjoyable. Should you have something that you can be proud of for a long time? Massey Ferguson and Bobcat zero-turn mowers. Come look them over. 299 Railroad Avenue, Rutherfordton. That phone number is 288-0395.
We're tracking cooler temperatures to stick with us today. It's going to be brief because once we head into tomorrow, we're going to see a big surge in our temperatures. We're going to heat up right again. So this afternoon, look for highs in the upper 60s and lower 80s. We are going to stay mostly dry with a lot of cloud cover. However, a few spots, especially to the south, cannot rule out a few passing showers. By tonight, we'll fall into the mid-50s and mid-60s. Tomorrow, we're looking at highs in the low to upper 80s. Stay mostly dry as well. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
It's another beautiful day to wake up to here in the foothills. It's Wednesday, the 25th day of May. We have 59 degrees, warming up to about 77 for a daytime high, with wind gusting about 10 miles per hour. No rain in sight until maybe later this evening. Of course, anything could happen in summertime like this, weather like we've been having. But right now, most of it's going to be this evening possibly. And it looks like maybe some rain again on Thursday. And Friday looks mostly sunny, and Saturday looks mostly sunny. So we got a pretty good weekend coming to our way. Right now, again, 59 degrees. Now I have these death announcements this morning. Pauline Price Morgan, age 70, of Grover, passed away Sunday, May 22nd, at Adrium Health in Cleveland County, Shelby. A memorial service will be conducted at 3 o'clock Saturday at the Harrelson Funeral Chapel. The family will receive friends 1 hour prior to the service time at the funeral home. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services entrusted with those arrangements for Pauline Price Morgan. Irene Spicer Hall, age 79, of Forest City, died Monday, May 23rd at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. The funeral service will be conducted at 2 o'clock Friday, May 27th at Riverside Baptist Church. Burial will follow in the church cemetery. The family will receive friends from 6 until 8 Thursday at Harrelson Funeral Home. Harrelson Funeral Home serving the family of Irene Spicer Hall. Pamela Dean Schaefer, age 68, of Tryon, passed away May 21st. Services will be held on Wednesday today at 3 o'clock at Bible Tabernacle, 207 U.S. 64, Highway 64, Rutherfordton. The family will receive friends 1 hour prior to the service at the church. The burial will take place at 11 o'clock Thursday, May 26th, at Hillcrest Memorial Gardens, Wade Hampton Boulevard in Greer, South Carolina. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Pamela Dean Schaefer. Jimmy E. Robbins, age 83, of Forest City, passed away Sunday, May 22nd, at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. A graveside service will be conducted at 3 o'clock today at Eternal Hills Memorial Park. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services entrusted with those arrangements for Jimmy E. Robbins. Michael Allen Edwards, age 72, of Forest City, died Friday, May 20th at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. The funeral service will be held 2 o'clock today at New Bethel Baptist Church. Burial will follow in the church cemetery. The family will receive friends following the graveside service in the gazebo in the cemetery. The Pageant and King Mortuary and Crematory is in charge of the arrangements for Michael Allen Edwards. Matthew Stillwell, 39, of Henrietta, died Saturday, May 21st. The graveside service will be conducted at 3 o'clock today at the Laurel Branch Cemetery in Bryson City. Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Service is serving the family of Matthew Stillwell of Henrietta. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. For the complete information on these and others, as they become available to us, be sure to tune in this morning at 11:35, and then again at 5:10, which is part of the afternoon report, for the complete information on these and others. The call around the county newscast coming up here in just a few moments. Remind you, though, that the Braves had a good night last night over the Phillies, 6-5 over the Phillies. Phillies beat them Monday night. Braves came back, beat them last night. They have another game tonight and tomorrow night with the Phillies. And the Forest City Owls start this week.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. But first, AMAC is the leading conservative advocacy and benefits organization. AMAC gives you access to exclusive benefits, insightful news, and a magazine full of uncensored content. They are pushing back against efforts to defund the police, weaken the borders, and corrupt our youth. But they need your help. Please stand with AMAC at amac.us. That's amac.us.
This is Brian Dean Wright filling in for Bill O'Reilly. On this Wednesday, I am thinking about wealth in America. The United States is the wealthiest country in the history of the world. Total worth in the USA topped $141 trillion in 2021. And that's expected to pass $150 trillion by the end of the decade. So how does all of that money break down within our population? Well, it turns out if you were born in the United States, you have a very good chance at making it rich. Here's that data. The median income currently stands at $67,000 in this country. The nation is also home to the most millionaires on earth. 19 million people have more than $1 million in the bank. That's roughly 6% of our entire population. The country also has 620 billionaires. Meanwhile, half of the population owns stock or holds private investments. Even the poorest of our citizens, their living standard here is better than anywhere else in the world. 97% of Americans living in poverty have a cell phone. 99% have refrigerators. 98% have cable television. 80% have air conditioning. 92% have internet access, and 70% have at least one car. Now listen to this. According to data from the UN and Census Bureau, the poorest 20% of Americans are wealthier than the average citizen in most European nations. They have more assets, better access to health care, and have twice the living space compared to people living in France, Germany, and Italy. Somebody better go tell Bernie Sanders. He's going to be very, very surprised. Back after this.
Many timeshare owners are very upset because their yearly dues have nearly doubled. Well, Lone Star will guarantee the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and in a specific time frame. With their A-plus rating at the Better Business Bureau, clients know that Lone Star Transfer is a company you can trust. For a free consultation, please go to LoneStarTransfer.com or call 855-551-7066. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
Good morning. Good morning.
WCAB, Rutherfordton.
In 1822, William Ashley advertised for men to go up the Missouri River and trap for pelts. The trappers were to spend the winter, and then Ashley would come back upriver in keelboats the next spring and pick up the furs. When Ashley arrived the next spring, on May 29, 1823, he was met by Jedediah Smith and told the trappers needed horses. On May 31st, Ashley and his men went to a nearby Arikara Indian village to trade for the needed horses. The next day, Ashley got 20 horses in return for gunpowder and shot, a trade they were later to regret. In the middle of the fourth night, one of the two men who were staying in the Indians' village came running out screaming that his partner had been killed. It's not known if it was part of a plan or there had been a problem, but at the break of dawn, the air was filled with arrows and just traded bullets fired from behind the stockade. The horses were the first to die. Using the dead horses as shelter, the mountain men yelled for the boats to come ashore and pick them up. Finally, Ashley was able to get a couple of skiffs on shore. It was every man for himself. Those who didn't make it in a skiff were washed downriver. Finally, with the survivors aboard the keelboats, they drifted downriver about 25 miles before they pulled ashore to take inventory. There were 13 men dead or missing. 11 were wounded, their horses were dead, and they had provided the local Indians with enough firepower to keep them out of the area for some time. You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Jesse James Railroad Express has added 2 new sandwiches to their menu. Try the all-new crispy chicken sandwich with lettuce, tomato, and mayonnaise, or the crispy deluxe with lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, bacon, and cheese. Enjoy a refreshing milkshake or a hand-dipped ice cream cone. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. Closed Wednesday and Sunday. Jesse James Railroad Express, 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherford. Call 828-447-4644. Mondays only, hot dog with mustard, chili, and onions for only $1.24 each. All aboard the Jesse James Railroad Express.
Congratulations to Jesse James Railroad Express, voted 2021 Best of Rutherford County hot dogs and hamburgers 5 years in a row.
16 minutes after 7, let's get the updates now on what's been happening in the county over the past 24 hours. From the Sheriff's Department, and Lieutenant Lowry is on with us to give us that update. Good morning. How you doing, sir?
I'm okay. How are you doing?
Great, thank you. Tell us what's been going on.
In the past 24 hours, the Sheriff's Office has responded to 154 calls. The jail has processed 15 arrests and currently has 201 detainees in the jail. Under incident reports, we have an incident of possession of stolen motor vehicle and resisting public officer. There were 2 arrests made for that incident. Cameron Remington and Joey Robinson, one of Kaiser and the other of Rutherford. They were both arrested for that. We have Brittany Geddes of Forest City reported an incident of injury to real property. Tyler Reed of Forest City reported an incident of identity theft. Under arrest, we have Corey Owens of Spindale charged with failure to show cause for failure to pay fine. Abby Humphreys of Forest City charged with failure to appear on misdemeanor, failure to appear show cause order. Taquana Davis of Spindale charged with assault and battery. James Fowler of Rutherford, false report to police station. Ruben Lopez of Forest City, failure to appear on misdemeanor. Jania Martin of Union Mills charged with failure to appear on misdemeanor. And K-Run Price of Rutherford charged with failure to return rental property. And that's it.
Lieutenant Lowry, thank you very much for that report, and you be safe out there today, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
All right, now let's head over to our 911 Communications Center. Amanda, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. What's on the report?
Well, in the past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communications Center has processed 525 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 53 for emergency medical services, 154 for the Sheriff's Office, 66 for Forest City, 7 for Lake Lure, 43 for Rutherford, and 24 for Spindale. Ellenboro Fire Department had a motor vehicle crash. Forest City had a motor vehicle crash. Pudlow had a structure fire assisted by Spindale, Rutherford, and Forest City, and Lake Lure had a motor vehicle crash. And that is all.
Thank you very much. Enjoy your day.
You too.
Hey folks, you know, Farmer's Friend Feed Seed Supply is an amazing store. I can say that because they have what you need. From pet supplies to fire and ant killer to horse quality Timothy alfalfa hay, $14 per bale. Attention carp fishermen, they have C&J flavoring, only $8 per bottle. And they have oats for sale. Refill your propane tanks at the lowest price. Fully stocked with all your deer supplies and a great selection of farm implements. Need mulch? $12 per scoop. We could call it a superstore. Farmer's Friend Feed Seed Supply, 188 Whiteside Road in Rutherford.
Cheryl, I've been talking to Tommy and David, the outside salesmen at Henson Building Materials in Forest City. They're going to help us navigate through our remodeling project.
Well, I know they have tons of experience, so we'll be in good hands.
Good hands is right. Even professional builders shop there because they trust the quality products and service.
And did you know they have a great relationship with our community, too? Oh, they're so nice.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street, Forest City.
Building starts here.
And the SDO report is next. Ruby Taylor's on the phone now to give it to us. Good morning, Ruby.
Good morning.
What's on that report?
Well, the fire department didn't have any calls. And on my birthday calendar, I've got Jordan Crow and Bob Hodge having birthdays today, and hope they have a nice day. Signs are in the head today and tomorrow, Jim. That's all I got.
Thanks, Ruby. You have a good day now.
You too.
All right, bye.
Bye.
That's SDO reporting in this morning. Well, the son and grandson of a North Carolina diner owner have been charged in an assault which led to her death. WLOS-TV reported that Henderson County Sheriff Lowell Griffin said Austin Amos Kennedy Burnside, 22, was charged with first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit robbery with a dangerous weapon. Burnside, who is the grandson of Paulette Clark, is facing additional charges, including a parole violation. Burnside's case has been assigned to the Public Defender's Office. Maurice Jones Jr., 42, was charged with conspiracy to commit robbery with a dangerous weapon. Griffin said Jones, who is Clark's son, is jailed on a $100,000 secured bond. His attorney wasn't immediately available for comment on Tuesday for this story. But according to the sheriff's office, Clark, 60, was beaten at her home on May 6th with the butt of an air rifle, which was used to shoot her in the eye. After Clark underwent eye surgery at local hospital, her health began to decline, and she was taken to another hospital to treat another infection. The officer said that's where she died the next day. Now let's check up around the Fairfield Mountains Fire District, and Gary Wilson's on the phone. Gary, how you doing?
Oh, I guess I'm doing all right. Look, the Iris brothers come out this kind of weather, though.
Boy, don't you know it. Don't you know it.
Are you familiar with the Iris brothers?
Is that arthritis and bursitis?
Arthritis and bursitis and neuritis and all that, but at least it's not cold.
It's hard to make friends with those guys too, isn't it?
It is. They don't take a joke at all. They sure don't. But we're about 59 degrees up here this morning. That's from off and on light rain during the night. And seen a little bit of sun yesterday at times, but it didn't stay out very long. Peeked back behind the clouds over a little bit, so it's gonna get warmer toward the weekend, first of next week, though, sound like back up in the 80s, and we're looking forward to seeing some sunshine in here. But meantime, we're going to deal with some more rain. Sound like tomorrow's going to be pretty wet day all day long tomorrow. Chance of some thunderstorms tomorrow. So, and we were quiet overnight, no call. Bills Creek had one for a wreck call, and that's all they ran the last 24 hours. So everything else goes pretty quiet and good to go up here, I guess.
What you need to take care of those Riders brothers is a trip to Florida, Gary.
That'd do it. A trip to Florida with a rod and reel in one hand and my hat on my head to keep my head from getting burned. And I'll be ready to go then. I'm gonna do that here pretty shortly.
Good. Well, it may not cure that, but it'll get your mind off of it anyway.
It sure will. Well,
Gary, enjoy your day. Thanks for being with us, and I'll check in with you tomorrow.
All right, we'll talk to you then.
Bye. To win in sports, you must adjust your strategy as the game changes. The same is true of investments. Why not let Andrew Tisdale, your Edward Jones financial advisor, help you create a game plan for financial success? Call 828-287-9197 and get started today. That's Andrew Tisdale at Edward Jones Financial Advisor, 828-287-9197. The Braves play ball again tonight, 6:05 airtime for the pregame. We'll talk about the game, and then the game will be played a little bit later on. And we're scheduled to have some of the team members of the Forest City Owls coming in the studio this morning a little after 8 o'clock, so we'll watch out for that and plan to have that interview with them. Here's DeVern now with Bostic Report. Good morning, DeVern.
Good morning. How are you?
I am good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, too.
Good.
Getting in the middle of the week. It's getting close to Friday.
It sure is. Boy, this is the last Wednesday we're going to have this month.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Okay, over here in Boston this morning we have a temperature of 60 degrees. It's raining a little bit and it's very damp. Fire department had no calls, but we want to give them a thanks to all they do in the Boston area. Chase Ministry will be giving out food boxes today from 9 to 10:30. Boston Flourish still has flower arrangements for Memorial Day or graduation. We want to congratulate our graduates, class of 2022. And don't forget the Teddy Bear for Children's Barbecue fundraiser Saturday, June the 4th from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Kiwanis Park in Ralston. They're raising money to purchase teddy bears to fill the trunks of Ralston, Spindale, and Forest City police cars. The bears are to be used for children in unhappy situations. And Ralston Police kayak rifle winner to be announced during the day. And this is for a good cause, so go out and do support it. And hope everyone has a safe day.
DeBern, did you say it's raining in Boston now?
Yes, drizzling a little bit.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you must be the lucky spot this morning.
Well, we pay the preacher good.
Well, you have a great day over there and keep up the good work, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye. Let me brag on Hutchins Pest Control a minute. Don't let the pest bug you when Hutchins Pest Control is as close as a phone call. Honest, dependable, professional, and on-time service may be the reason they keep getting voted best pest control. If you have a pest problem, call this family-run business at 287-5171. Licensed in North and South Carolina and fully insured and bonded. Get a free estimate when you call Hutchins Pest Control and be sure the job is done right. That's Hutchins Pest Control. Call them today at 287-5171 and they'll be right there. Our next stop is going to be over the Hudlow Fire District, and I think that's where Bob Hodge is this morning. And we'll get a report from there and see what's been happening. Good morning, Bob. How are you?
We're doing just fine on this hump day morning.
Well, good. Now, are you the Bob Hodges having a birthday today?
I think so.
Well, happy birthday, Bob.
Well, thank you.
I'm glad you reached another milestone.
That's right. Get another day older and deeper in debt.
Well, I hope you have a good one.
Well, thank you. We're getting a little sprinkle of rain off and on up here this morning, and cloudy. But I don't believe it's going to be a washout today, so
not supposed to be.
But Jim, things are going along good so far this morning. We had one call yesterday afternoon to a camper fire, and that's about it with the fire department. And so far, things are going along good this morning, and I hope you have a good day now.
You have a good day, too, and do some things that Bob Hodge wants to do. It's your birthday, Bob. You should enjoy everything.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right, I'll see you now. Have a good one.
You too now.
Bye.
Bye.
Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Look for all the new design 2021 F-150 at Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush. Brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
Again, one of our locally owned businesses, we encourage everyone to support RS Speedy Lube there in Car Wash, and other services available. 29 now past 7. Let's head over to the Cherry Mountain Fire District. Sue Price, how you doing this morning?
Good morning, Jim. I'm doing good. Hope you are.
I'm doing well. Are you getting any rain over there?
I don't think it's raining here yet. It's cloudy, though. Looking like it's going to.
Yeah.
Oh, me. Well, we've needed this rain. But let's see. I don't have any calls from the fire department. I don't have any birthdays on my church calendar. On my personal calendar, I've got Bob Hodge, so happy birthday, Bob. And on Fairviews, they've got Camden Gurley. And nothing on for Sprouts today, so not too many celebrating. No, we hope anybody's having a birthday or anniversary will have a real good day on their special day and enjoy it. And in my announcements, the Sunshine Church will be having their memorial Sunday. It starts at 11 a.m. No meal after the service. Their speaker will be Steve Harmon. And the Duncans Creek Church will be having their memorial Sunday. It starts at 11 a.m. and they will be having a picnic lunch to follow. And so far, now there's going to be a sale going on at the old Farmers Hardware building in downtown Forest City today. It's from 10 to 5. And everything's 75% off. They're trying to get rid of everything in the building and to get ready to do some remodeling in it. And the proceeds for the sale, all of it's going to the Challenge Foundation Group to benefit a local tutoring program. So I know a lot of people know, well, everybody knows what was in the Farmers Hardware building, a lot of gifts and stuff. So 75% off, open today from 10 to 5. And it's a benefits thing, so come out and get some special bargains.
The building's been sold, and there's a group bought that, and they're going to turn that into some apartments, I think. So they're trying to clear out all the merchandise.
Yeah.
75% off, pretty good deal.
Pretty good deal. Hard to beat. And so far, that's the only announcement I got, Jim. It's just a kind of a sad day to think about somebody that would go to a school and do what happened out there in Texas. It's just so sad.
It is terrible, terrible, terrible.
This breaks my heart.
Yep, I can't imagine.
I can't either.
Well, even up in Hiddensville, his son shot his grandmother in the face with a BB gun, in the eye with a BB gun. Beat her in the head first, then shot her in the face with a BB gun. She later died. So it's we're not immune to those kind of bad things here in Western North Carolina.
I tell you never know. It can happen anywhere, in a school or store or restaurant or anything.
Well, that's exactly right. Until people get their heart right, it's going to continue.
That's right.
All right, Sue, thank you very much. I hope you have a wonderful day over there, and be safe, and I'll see you next time.
All right, Jim. Bye-bye.
Bye.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
All right, let's check on Tina White now up in the Shingle Hollow district to see what's happening up there. Tina, you doing okay?
I'm doing well. Good morning from Shingle Hollow.
Good morning to you.
It's another cloudy morning up here, but it's not raining, no sprinkling or anything. We'll just see what the day has for us. It's 61 degrees, and the fire department, as far as I know, was all quiet. And we have birthdays today, or a birthday for Kenny Walker. Hope he has a wonderful birthday. And an anniversary for Tim and Susan Ford. Hope they have a great day as well. White House Community Clubhouse is having their breakfast this Saturday morning. It is a country buffet breakfast. You can have all you all you can eat. Be there at 7. They will be there from 7 to 10. They're also going to have a little yard sale. They want to invite everyone to that. And Piney Knob Baptist Church that same evening, the 28th, this Saturday, is having a fish fry. They invite everyone to come out and enjoy that. It starts at 5 p.m. My son bought a pair of shorts over at Walmart, and a nice pair of shorts and had a razor blade in the pocket, an open razor blade, and he cut his hand with it. So
you're kidding.
Check your clothes, and it was here in Forest City, so everybody check your clothes before you put your hands in them. Isn't that terrible?
Razor blade in the pocket of a pair of shorts, and,
Yeah.
and your son stuck his hand in there and cut himself. Now that is really bad.
So, he did go and get a tetanus shot and got some blood work, and because if you never know if someone is mean enough to want to hurt someone by putting a razor blade in a pocket, you don't know what they did with that razor blade, and you don't know what they may have had. So he had blood work, and he'll have more blood work in about 3 months. But,
well, I'm sure sorry that happened. That should not be happening anywhere, especially right here in our hometown, Forest City.
It just blows my mind that it was here in Forest City, because we think of hometown friendly, but I guess there's just meanness everywhere.
Well, somebody apparently had tried to moan or walk by and put a blade in there, because it didn't pop in there by itself.
No, and it was a new, just a blade, just like a blade that you put in a box cutter.
Yeah.
So they could have just went through and put in several pockets. So if you're buying clothes at Walmart, please check the pockets. And we let Walmart know. And I spoke with Sierra in customer service, and she assured me that they're going to check all the pockets, and they were very nice about it. So very friendly, and we're just as flabbergasted as I am still.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they have those cameras in every angle or not, but they might do some camera work and see if they see something suspicious like that. I'm sure they'll do all their investigation with it.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad you reported that, because folks do need to be aware, and you never know.
I hope it helped. I hope that there's no more in pockets, but just take a caution.
Yeah, good advice. Thank you. Anything else going on?
Well, that's all I know of this morning.
Well,
there's a skunk in the community, because I can smell him.
Oh no! Oh no! Well, and they could be some distance away and left an aroma when they went by.
Right.
I smell them once in a while when I get out to go to work in the morning. I smell them somewhere. I don't know where they are, but I'm always afraid they're going to spray my dog when the dog's out walking around. But well, listen, thank you for the news. That is a newsworthy story to bring forward, and I hope folks will be aware of that when they go shopping at Walmart or any place, really. You have a wonderful day, Tina.
You too.
Thanks.
Have a very blessed day, and stay safe out there.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Capture the moment, share the moment with Carolina West Wireless. Right now, whether you're a new or existing customer, there are great deals for everyone. With our savings stack up, you can stay connected while saving up to $1,050. Save $400 on the new iPhones 13, plus $150 when you switch, and up to $500 on device trade-ins. And with our 5G network, you can capture the moment and share it from wherever you are. Visit a Carolina West Wireless store and start saving today. Carolina West Wireless. Go stay connected. Certain restrictions apply. See representative for details or visit carolinawest.com/terms and conditions.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Well, the big hand's on 8 and the little hand's on 8. That means it's 20 minutes till 8 o'clock, and we're going up to Union Mills to talk with Brenda Kelly. Good morning, Brenda.
Good morning, Jim Bishop. How are you on this wonderful wet Wednesday morning?
I'm wonderful and wet.
What was that Tina was telling about a razor blade? I just caught the tail end of it.
They picked her son bought a pair of shorts. I guess shorts to wear every day kind of thing, and he stuck his hand in the pocket of them, and there was a razor blade in there, and he cut himself.
Ooh, that ain't good.
No, it's not good.
No.
So they reported it, of course, to the Walmart officials, and they're doing their investigation. And her son got a shot, and all those things. But that's pretty low down.
Yeah, that's serious. Yeah, 'cause you don't know where that razor blade's been or nothing else.
That's exactly right.
I tell you, the devil's on the rampage, ain't he?
He's alive and well.
Yeah, and them people out yonder in Texas, all them little innocent children, that just breaks my heart. I just can't wrap my mind around how somebody gets that evil.
I know it. It breaks my heart too. I don't understand it.
I'm just thinking, our little 10-year-old sitting in class, then all of a sudden somebody comes in and starts shooting, and if any of them survived in that room, I don't know if they did or not, because I believe they said altogether he'd killed 19, right?
I think that's right, yeah, including a couple of adults.
Yeah, and if any of them survive, that'll be with them till the day they die.
That's terrible. Well, the shooter did get shot and he was killed. So
yeah. But that don't right the wrong, does it?
It doesn't right the wrong, and you have to wonder if they had captured him alive, would he have explained why he did it, or is he just so far out there he never would say anything?
He's just probably so far out there it wouldn't have made any difference. I don't know. I just and I don't understand why that young man drove like he did up out of New York and killed all them people. Yeah. I just don't. I'm thinking. But I think back to what you've always said. There's so much anger out there.
There's a lot of anger out there.
Yeah.
And they keep, and President and others saying, we got to get these guns off. Well, it's not the guns, folks. It's the ones who are holding the guns.
Yeah.
There's never been a gun walked off the shelf and shot anybody. It's the ones holding the gun, and you don't shoot somebody unless you got a heart problem.
Well, there you go. That's it. But I just don't. I just don't see how somebody 18 years old and become that evil in that short amount of time to just do that. And and before that, he shot his grandmother, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He sure did.
Yeah. But anyway, I've got 58 degrees on the front porch. I don't have but one birthday, and that's Bob Hodge. Bob, I hope you have the best day you've ever had. And then ways of announcements. Friends for a Cure Against Cancer inside yard sale, proceeds to benefit Relay for Life. This is June the 11th, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. This will be at the Dyersville Community Building, 74 Clubhouse Road, Nebo, North Carolina, 28761 between 226 South and Vane Mountain Road. And so far, that's all I know of going on. So
we got a bunch of listeners up that way, don't we?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, they call me every now and then to announce something. So that's good. So good morning up in Dyersville and Bracketttown and all the roads beyond.
Good morning, everybody. Yeah, that's right.
That's exactly right.
Brenda, thank you very much. I hope you have a wonderful day.
You too, and we'll catch you later.
Thanks. Bye. And we'll check in next with Luther Gilligan over in Ellenboro, see what's going on. Let me introduce you to Brock Family Care, a direct primary care practice that takes care of the patients and not the insurance company. Providing flat rate pricing and not accepting any forms of health insurance allows for more personalized and affordable health care. Ann Brock has over 42 years of health care experience and 22 years as a nurse practitioner. She and her staff are dedicated to providing health care that is patient-centered and not insurance company dictated. They give the patient the time and the attention they need. What are your medical needs? Bring them to Brock Family Care and see the difference. And also offers telehealth appointments. The professional staff are dedicated and will take the time to find out how they can help you. To learn more about this wonderful medical service, go to the website at www.brockfamilycare.com. That's Brock Family Care, 289 Shallow Road, Forest City. I'm glad we have a medical facility like Brock Family Care here in the county. It's amazing what they can do for you. With all the hassles, without all the hassles and all the extra money you have to spend out. Go see them. Look them up on the web. 744. Let's head over toward Ellenboro now. Luther Gilligan, how you doing?
I'm doing great, sir. Drinking coffee, watching it rain.
Rain? Is it raining over there?
Or trying to rain.
Yeah.
It's raining. It's got the streets wet. But it's still dry where the car's parked. So it's not been raining much. Poured out my gate just barely enough minutes before it out.
Yeah.
But we didn't get a whole lot last night. But it's quiet there this morning. Not a whole lot happened. Everybody heading on out to work, getting another day in. See, fire department, they had one accident yesterday morning and had one medical call yesterday afternoon. Other than that, they was quiet last night, quiet this morning. That's about it there, Jim. So you have a great day up there. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you then.
You take care now.
That's Lucy Gilligan reporting out of Ellenboro, the streets of Ellenboro, North Carolina, and it's birthday time for this 25th day of May, May 25th. You can call that in to us now at 287-3356. We've cleared the phone lines for birthdays and anniversaries. Todd's standing by to take that call. Birthdays, anniversaries, 287-3356, and today is the 25th day of May. I was by Granny B's yesterday over in Spindle. I had lunch over there, and boy, I tell you, I'm loving their lunch stuff. But I looked at the breakfast menu. Of course, I'm not over there in the mornings for breakfast, but they start serving breakfast 6:30 until 11. And that breakfast menu is really good. They got pancakes, they got omelets, and they got how you want your eggs fixed, and the specialty coffee that you want. You need to try that breakfast. They're getting rave reviews now. They give you a lot of it too. Why don't you get a load of breakfast from Granny B's and try it, see what you think, and spread the word. Granny B's breakfast and their lunch and their daylight donuts are outstanding. They were people buying those yesterday too. Just about cleaned out the counter, but she'll make fresh today. Granny B's, right next door to the Shake Shop there in Spindale.
Happy birthday.
Today's birthday include Taylor Robbins and Donnie and Diane Connor celebrating their 15th wedding anniversary. We want to give a special shout out to our morning and afternoon reporter Bob Hodge over in the Hudlow section. Bob Hodge having a great birthday, we hope, today. 1803, Ralph Waldo Emerson was born. He died in 1882. 1878, Bill Bojangles Robinson, who's an actor. He was born. He died in 1949. 1926, Claude Akins was born, died in 1994. 1936, Ton Tilton Singer was born. He died in 2021. 1939, Dixie Carter was born. She died in 2010. 1963, Mike Myers was born. Oh, Tom T. Hall, I'll see it. Yeah, okay. I can read, but I can't read writing somehow this morning. Events today includes Tom T. Hall. I see it now. 1721, John Copeson becomes America's first insurance agent. 1927, Henry Ford ends production of the Model T Ford. 1932, Goofy, also known as Deputy Dog, was first appeared on the Disney film. 1977, Brady Bunch last aired on ABC TV. This is National Tap Dance Day, National Missing Children's Day, and National Wine Day, and National Towel Day. So now you're up to date on this date in history here on WCAB in Rutherford. Got a special guest coming in this morning a little after 8 o'clock, and we'll also check in with Wayne Rollins, see what's cooking today. Right now is Keys to Confident Living.
Does God answer all our prayers? Maybe a companion question should be, what if God answered all our prayers? Have you ever stopped to think what our lives would be like if God did everything we wanted Him to do? What if you'd married that person you just had to have as a young man or a woman? They turned out to be a creep. Just think where you would have been. Or just imagine the patchwork of dry and wet land if no picnic area ever received rain because of all of the people who wanted a rain-free outing. I have often been thankful to God that I didn't get everything I asked for. It would have been terrible. God in His great wisdom and love often has to overlook our foolish requests. Reverend Arlie Fadness of Harrisburg, South Dakota, tells of being a student at Augustana Academy in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Every Sunday afternoon, the students would go to a nearby hospital to visit the sick and then pray for the patient's recovery. Reverend Fadness visited with one lady and then offered to pray for her. Nervously, he prayed for God to heal the woman and spare her any reoccurrence of the illness. One of the nearby students overheard the aspiring pastor's prayer and reminded him that he had just visited the maternity ward. If you don't feel that God has been listening to you when you pray, maybe it is for your good that your prayers have not been answered like you want. This is Bill Hostler with today's Key to Confident Living.
Good morning. Good morning.
After Sandy Hook, Uvalde, Texas is now the scene of the second deadliest school shooting in U.S. history. A gunman opened fire at Robb Elementary School Tuesday morning, killing at least 19 students and 2 teachers before dying in a shootout with police. The suspect, 18 years old, a student at the local high school. ABC's Amy Robach is in Uvalde.
At 11:32 a.m. Central Time, the suspect, wearing body armor, abandoned his vehicle and entered the school, where 2nd, 3rd, and 4th graders were in the middle of the school day. The gunman opening fire as soon as he stepped on school grounds. Students reportedly scrambling out of windows to escape.
4th grader Jordan Legis says his teachers saw the shooter outside their classroom and told everyone to take cover.
We just hear all kinds of gunshots going off, like nonstop, like constantly gunshots. And then we're over here all scared on the ground, fearing for our lives.
Investigators in South Texas working to piece together a portrait of the teenager who opened fire with an assault-style rifle yesterday. ABC's Jim Ryan tells us what they've come up with.
Like many, maybe most 18-year-olds, Salvador Ramos was active on social media.
He started adding me on different accounts, and he cussed me out a few times, but nothing really too aggressive.
But 17-year-old Kiana Baxter can't quite put her finger on what was wrong with Ramos.
There's just something about him. You could tell the vibes from him. It was more of a vibe thing than how he acted.
Ramos was killed by police after barricading himself inside the school where he had murdered nearly 24 students and teachers. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Uvalde, Texas.
Results from several high-stakes primaries. Most of the focus has been in Georgia. Incumbent Brian Kemp defeated Trump-backed David Perdue in the race for governor. Kemp endorsed by former Vice President Pence, infuriating Trump when he refused to overturn Joe Biden's win in the state in 2020. Kemp will now face Stacey Abrams again in November 2018. Kemp beat Abrams by just 500,000 votes. You're listening to ABC News.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice. Don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Still in a Russian prison, WNBA star Brittany Griner, her wife Cheryl, speaking to ABC News about the last 3 months and the importance of gestures like Griner's number on display at WNBA courts.
Things like that matter. It has her hopeful. It lets her know she's not forgotten. And obviously, when you're sitting over there in your country, they haven't come to your rescue yet. I know that it makes her feel good.
Griner was arrested for allegedly carrying hashish oil. Ukraine's president today now saying he won't trade land for peace with Russia, and the invasion of Ukraine also speeding up the process for some countries getting into NATO.
Countries including Ukraine and Georgia wanted in, but Finland and Sweden are getting the fast track to NATO membership.
Our position is that NATO's door should and must remain open.
State Department spokesman Ned Price not saying why those other nations are on NATO's back burner. Both Finland and Sweden asking for membership after feeling threatened from Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Andy Field, ABC News, Washington.
More cases of monkeypox. The latest suspected one is in Sacramento County, the first to be found in California. Another flight of baby formula from overseas due to land today at Dulles Airport outside of Washington. The formula will then be sent to hospitals and programs for low-income Americans. This is ABC News.
Do you owe the IRS $8,000 or more? Are you a few years behind on your filing? Are you going through an audit and have no idea what to do? You need an ally, fast. Ally's Tax Relief Negotiators can protect you from all IRS collections, but have you called them today? Their team of enrolled agents, tax attorneys, and CPAs are your allies to fix all your tax problems. Take the first step to getting the IRS off your back. Call Ally's Tax Relief today for a free consultation. 800-957-0325. Ally's Tax Relief. 800-957-0325.
Dave Packer, ABC News.
We are going to see temperatures stay a little bit below normal for this time of the year. For this afternoon, we'll top in the upper 60s, and some areas to the south could see readings in the lower 80s. We are going to stay mostly dry. However, few spots to the south cannot rule out a few passing showers for today. And tomorrow, highs will be warmer in the low to upper 80s. We're tracking this potent cold front to move through on Friday. That will bring severe storms into the area again. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Right now, 61 degrees currently at WCAB, 61 degrees. We've had reports of light rain drizzling in some sections of the county. Nothing here yet, but it's supposed to be a pretty cloudy day, and maybe the rain coming later tonight. Looks like on Friday, mostly sunny with highs around 80, and mostly clear Friday night with lows around 60. Then Saturday, mostly sunny, so the weekend looks pretty good. We're on the phone. We got guests in the studio with me right now, and we have the man who knows how to cook a plate of chicken pie. Wayne Rollins, how you doing this morning?
Good morning, Jim. How you doing, buddy?
Have I pegged that right? Is today Wednesday chicken pie day?
Today is Wednesday. It's chicken pie day, and I'm even going to throw in your favorite banana pudding. How about that?
Hey, you're a winner, man. You're a winner. What else going on?
We got, even though people can't eat it today, I got a little catering going out this morning, and we're going to throw a little bit of fried chicken out there for them today. But I hate to say that because I know people think we're going to have it here, but we're not. It's just for our catering. But just let it know that it's one of those things that, you know, we have that's available for catering. So we'll be frying up some chicken here in a little bit.
Well, I know it'll be good. Everything I've ever eaten from your place is delicious.
Well, I appreciate that. We try our best to. And, yeah, just today, I mean, we got the chicken pie going to be out there. Always a good thing on Wednesday. And then banana pudding for dessert. Of course, you got the patty melt today, which is always good for if you never tried one of those. You can get that different. You know, the patty melt comes with a hamburger patty and grilled onions and cheese. But you can put, like, you know, you can add mushrooms or jalapenos, or, you know, you could do a Swiss melt. Do the mushroom with Swiss cheese. So there's a lot of different ways. And I tell everybody that when they come in here, you know, that you don't have to get it just the average way. You know, we've got so many toppings and different things. I know one of Todd's favorites, like, you know, you don't have to get tater tots. You can get tater tots with chili, cheese, jalapenos, and mushrooms.
That sounds like Todd.
Well, I mean, that's just, you know, it's one of those things that separates us, I think, from a lot of different places. You know, we try to, you know, we've got our hot dogs and hamburgers, but then we've got our meats and vegetables too. So it's not just your little corner place that has hot dogs and hamburgers. We sell a lot of chicken salad. We sell a lot of just clubs and, you know, a whole different variety of things. So it's just like our catering menu. You know, we can do a backyard barbecue, or we can do a sit-down prime rib. So there's a lot of different ways and a lot of different things that you can try. And I tell everybody that, you know, don't get hung up on the same thing every day. Try something different, because you might find your next best thing that you like. So
yeah. Well, that's one of the things that sets you apart from a lot of other places, because your variety and, of course, your meat and vegetables and burgers, as well as your carry out. Now, I know folks that call the lunch orders in because you don't have a sit down except outside on the patio there, but they can call the order in. You can get it ready for them to take back to work at lunchtime.
Yeah, we have people that do that all the time. We've actually got an order going out this morning too. You know, they've called in like 12 plates from yesterday, and I try to tell people if they're going to have a lot of plates like that, you know, a lot of times some of the doctor's offices or even the teachers at the school place an order the day before. So in other words, like today, they want to pick it up at 11 o'clock. So we'll have those plates ready right before we open, and that way they can come in and grab them and go before we get busy. But you can always call it in. You know, granted, that number is 828-395-2225, and we have a lot of people do that every day. They'll call their order in, and that way if they want it at 11:15 or 11:30, they can just step right in and get it and get out the door. So they can always call us and get it ahead of time.
I like the fact that you're staying so busy with some catering jobs, and I know you got one going this morning, so we won't tie you up very long. I've got the owner of the Farsi Owls in here with me, along with a couple of guys that's going to be doing the broadcasting for the Owls. So they're excited about the season, and I know a lot of folks are. So I'm going to talk to them just a few minutes. Meanwhile, Wayne, you keep up the good work, and I'll talk to you again real soon.
We're going to try to. I want to tell everybody too, Jim, we will be closed this Friday and Monday for Memorial Day. So we're going to take a little break
Yeah.
So tomorrow will be our last day this week. But you can call me Monday. I might be on the beach, but you can call me still Monday.
Don't want to disturb you while you're on the beach, man. Listen, you have a great trip. And we'll talk to you when you get back.
All right, Jim. I appreciate it, bud. You have a good day.
Thanks, Wayne. Wayne Rollins with Wayne's Lunchbox there in Spindale. Great place to have a meal. He doesn't have an inside dining room. He does have tables outside under a shed. So if you want to sit and watch the traffic go by, you certainly do that. I've got guests in the studio with me from the Forest City Owls, and we'll talk to them right after this.
Smith Drugs of Forest City, we are continue to offer the COVID-19 rapid testing and the COVID-19 vaccinations. Please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591 with any questions or concerns that you may have. You may also visit our website at smithsdrugsfc.com and schedule your COVID rapid 19 test or your vaccination. Again, if you have any questions, please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591.
Smith's Drugs of Forest City is offering the flu vaccines. You can walk in Monday through Friday or by appointment only on Saturdays. The Dream Station and System 1 CPAP customers, if you need assistance registering your recall devices, you can call the Home Medical Department at 245-4591. And Smith's Drugs has a large selection of in-stock mastectomy bras, now half price. So come by our Home Equipment Department on West Main Street in Forest City. Smith's Drugs, 245-4591. Sign-up forms are now available for the Meet Me at the Fountain 5K race to be held on Saturday, July the 23rd. Go to smithsdrugsfc.com.
11 minutes after 8 o'clock on this Hub Day Wednesday morning. This will be the last Wednesday we're going to have this month, but we got a lot of exciting things going on. I'm excited this morning to have in the studio with me the man who makes the Forest City Owls click in this area, Phil Dangle. Phil Dangle, good morning.
Good morning. Glad to be here again.
We're happy to have you. I know you're excited about a new season.
We are excited, and I have with me the voices of the Owls, Rory and Jacob, who will tell you where they go to school and tell you a little about themselves. Season starts for real tomorrow night at home against Ashboro, who has changed their names from the Copperheads to the Zookeepers. We played an exhibition game last night that we won. We hit the ball well, scored 11 runs. And I'll let Rory and Jacob bring you up to date.
All right, Rory. You're who's Rory? Which one's Rory?
I'm Rory.
All right, Rory, go ahead. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and where you went to school.
Thanks for having me on. I'm from Westfield, Massachusetts, so Western Mass, a little bit outside Springfield. I went to Emerson College in Boston, Massachusetts, majored in sports communication and broadcast journalism, and now I'm here in Forest City, co-broadcaster with Jacob here, and it's been a great time, and yeah, no, this is my first time in Forest City. I've had a great first week.
Well, this is a great step in your career, being right here in Forest City, North Carolina.
Absolutely, yeah, no. I'm very excited about it.
All right, tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm with Rory on that one. I've loved my time here in Forest City thus far, but my name is Jacob Brown. I'm the play-by-play broadcaster for Forest City this season. I went to Florida Atlantic University in college, and I did FAU baseball games over there, so going from one place with an owl to another place with an owl here in Forest City, and really excited for this season.
What do you look for in the Forest City Owls this year? I'm sure you've already studied them. You know a little bit about what to expect.
Yeah, we're looking. There's some 5 returning players this year, Will Butcher being one of them, who was probably the best offensive player for the Owls last season. We're looking for a winning season, and we're looking to get into that postseason, into that playoff, and getting that home playoff game this year. So there's some players that we think can probably do that and get them to that point, but a lot of it is, can the Owls stay steady until that second half when some of these players that are currently in the college playoffs get over to the Forest City Owls. So once that happens, they'll probably pick up steam a little bit, but if they can tread water before then, it could be a pretty good season for this Owls ball club.
We always have a few coming in late because of their college commitments. They
right.
have to be there until that season's over with. But it's always a pleasure when they come in and reignite the team again. What will be your responsibility in the broadcast booth?
I'm very much the analyst, color commentator. I used to play baseball Division III at Emerson, so I know a lot about the game. And yeah, that's really what I do, analyzing a lot of pitches, and then also kind of giving some predictions, Tony Romo style. But yeah, it's been very fun. That exhibition game last night was a great time, and we had some good calls on there for sure, and just only going to get better from here.
How long have you been in Forest City? How long have you been in town?
May 16th, I believe the day was. 2 Sundays ago. It's Yes, we've been here since then.
All right. Both of you come in about the same time.
Both of these gentlemen are living with the host family in Rutherfordton, so they're being well fed and well taken care of. The only thing I want to add is, we're home tomorrow night, opening night. We're home Saturday night, which will be a firework night. And a week from Saturday night, the 4th of June, we will be playing the Savannah Bananas, who have created quite a following in our league. Rory and Jacob, one is a Red Sox fan, one is a Yankee fan. We haven't had any fights yet in the broadcast booth, but we probably will as the season goes on.
Maybe we can turn them into Atlanta Braves fans.
There we go. Oh, okay. I went to the Atlanta Stadium last week. What a great place.
They got a brand new stadium. It's really
great place.
Yeah. And they're up and down so far this year. But I'm hoping the Owls get off to a great start. They won't be any up and down. I hope
so. That'll be great.
Special events all year long. I know you mentioned the first couple. Any major events coming along?
We have major events. We always have fireworks. We have fireworks on the 4th of June and then again on the 2nd of July. And those games are selling a lot of tickets. So if you want to come see fireworks, especially for the weekend of the 4th of July, you better hurry. Other special events are next Thursday night. We have Faith Night, which is all the local churches join together. It's the one night that we serve no beer or alcohol at the park. Tomorrow night, Lee Newton will be singing the national anthem and a couple of songs for us. And we have many other special things going on during the season that my memory, I'm so old I can't remember what they are, but we're going to do some fun things, particularly for the kids. We're going to have axe throwing. Axe throwing tomorrow night. So, not at people, at a scoreboard.
I was going to ask you, are you going to be the target?
That would be so popular that the lines would be, out the door. Right.
Well, it's always a pleasure when the Owls start their season. People get excited about having a great team here and a guy who owns the team loves the area.
Right.
You'll fall in love with Forest City once you've been here a few weeks.
They will. It happens, and we have told them yesterday we have two broadcasters that were here with us in the past coming back this season to say hello, and people come back to Forest City. They love it here.
And the way they feed you around here, you'll be gaining some weight.
Yeah, it's a fact.
Oh, yeah, I'll be looking down.
Forest City 15.
Yeah, exactly right. But we'll look forward to hearing from you again. Hopefully we'll be back in. Phil and I are talking about some games. We'll be broadcasting some of the away games, and we'll firm that up and get that started here pretty soon and let you folks know about that. Meanwhile, tickets are available in advance?
Tickets are available at 138 East Main Street, online also at, don't hold me to this, but I think it's www.forestcitybaseball.com. Or you call us at 828-245-0000. And we'll be glad to sell you tickets.
Guys, thanks for being with us today. And go Owls.
Go Owls.
I'll be back in just a moment. Let me introduce you to Brock Family Care, a direct primary care practice that takes care of the patients and not the insurance company. Providing flat rate pricing and not accepting any forms of health insurance allows for more personalized and affordable health care. Ann Brock has over 42 years of healthcare experience and 22 years as a nurse practitioner. She and her staff are dedicated to providing health care that is patient-centered and not insurance company dictated. They give the patient the time and the attention they need. What are your medical needs? Bring them to Brock Family Care and see the difference. And also offers telehealth appointments. The professional staff are dedicated and will take the time to find out how they can help you. To learn more about this wonderful medical service, go to the website at www.brockfamilycare.com. That's Brock Family Care, 289 Shallow Road, Forest City.
You need an insurance agent you can talk to? Call Insurance Service Associates at 828-245-5301. We want to help you get the best out of your insurance dollar. As a trusted choice independent agent, we shop your coverage with several companies to give you the best value. More companies, better choices, best rate. Come see us at our new office at 245 East Main Street in Forest City, or call us at 828-245-5301.
Saving money is easy when you shop at Jay's Discount Grocery. From snack foods to vegetables, fresh fruits to fresh cut meats, paper products, cleaning supplies, dog food, and so much more. You know, you just never know what you'll find at Jay's. So shop and save today. They're located at 671 Oak Street in Forest City, right beside the Hospice Resale Store. You know, when you shop at Jay's, you always walk out with money left over in your pocket.
Well, the sheriff's report coming up here in just a few moments with Lieutenant Lowry. Reminder again, up in Hendersonville, the son and grandson of a North Carolina diner owner have been charged in an assault which led to her death. WLOS reported Henderson County Sheriff Lowell Griffin and said Austin Amos Kennedy Burnside, 22, was charged with first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit robbery with a dangerous weapon. Burnside, who is the grandson of Paulette Clark, is facing additional charges, including a parole violation. Burnside's cash has been assigned to the Public Defender's Office. Maurice Jones, Jr., 42, was charged with conspiracy to commit robbery with a dangerous weapon. Jones, who is Clark's son, is jailed on a $100,000 secured bond. His attorney wasn't immediately available for comment on Tuesday. According to the sheriff's office, Clark, 60, was beaten at her home on May 6 with the butt of an air rifle, which was used to shoot her in the eye. After Clark underwent eye surgery at a local hospital, her health began to decline, and she was taken to another hospital to treat another infection. The sheriff's office said she died that day. Congratulations to Margise McCombs, rising senior running back. Margise McCombs from Chase High was recently named the Mountain Amateur Athletic Club Division II Male Athlete of the Year during a ceremony at the Grove Park Inn Sunday. The award is given annually to the top male athlete in Western North Carolina from a 1A or 2A program encompassing all the major sports. The award follows McCombs' tremendous year for the Trojans on the gridiron. He rushed for 2,844 yards, scoring 41 total touchdowns. Those numbers were the second most for any player in North Carolina and eighth most nationally. As a result, McCombs was also named the Mountain Foothills 7 Conference Player of the Year, and he was also selected to the North Carolina All-State team. So congratulations to him. 21 now past 8 o'clock. Lieutenant Lowry gave us a report from the Sheriff's Department this morning, and we recorded it for broadcast at this time.
Now, it's time for your Atlanta Braves morning update.
William Contreras plays the role of walk-off hero as the Braves take down the Phillies on Tuesday night.
A-list season ticket members receive the best seats at the lowest prices. First access to postseason tickets and so much more. Learn more at Braves.com/A-list.
Tuesday night at Truist Park, the Braves walked off winners as William Contreras played the role of hero as the Braves evened up their 4-game series with the Phillies at a game apiece. Philadelphia would strike first for a run in the second on a sac fly from JT Realmuto, but the Braves responded with 2 in the bottom half on RBI singles from Dansby Swanson and Ronald Acuna Jr. Then after Philly tied the game in the 6th on an RBI double from Bryce Harper, the Braves went back in front 3-2 on Matt Olson's 5th homer of the season. Then after Harper put the Phillies in front with a 2-run shot off of Kenley Jansen in the top of the 9th, and then after Ronald Acuna Jr. tied it with a sac fly in the bottom of the 9th, William Contreras stepped up looking to send 32,000 home happy on a Tuesday night.
1-1 pitch. There's a liner out towards center field. It will lay down. Base hit. Here comes Ronald. Braves win it. They never even recorded an out in the 9th. William Contreras wins it, and the Braves take it 6-5 as they walk it off against Philadelphia.
Braves will now give the ball to Charlie Morton for Game 3 as the Phillies counter with Ranger Suarez. And as always, hear all the action live from Truist Park on the Braves Radio Network tonight at 7:20 Eastern. I'm Kevin McAlpin, and this has been your Braves Radio Network Morning Update.
And the Braves had a good night yesterday over the Phillies, 6-5, and hopefully they'll continue having that insight and win some more games. That was the Braves update. Instead of Lieutenant Lara, we're attempting to get that report on for you in just a few moments here on WCAB. Meanwhile, keep in mind, there's a lot of things going on right now. The summer is beginning to pop up soon. Graduation dates coming, and we congratulate all those that are out there getting ready for graduation. Rutherford County officially has had 96 provisional ballots cast during the primary election on Election Day. There were 60 provisional ballots cast during early voting. Statewide, there were 7,022 provisional ballots cast on Election Day and 876 cast during early voting. And early election canvass will be on Friday. Each county board of election meets before certifying the results to make decisions on applications submitted by voters. Rutherford County Elections Director Dawn Lovelace and her staff are busy this week preparing for the official county election canvass, which is scheduled for Friday. This is the process of ensuring votes have been counted correctly and required audits have been completed. The canvass will take place in all North Carolina counties on Friday and must happen with results submitted to the North Carolina Board of Elections before the elections are
NCN Sports, I'm Josh Zach. The Hurricanes are now 0-5 on the road in this postseason. It goes along with their 6-0 mark at home, and they need to win in Game 5 if they want this trend to continue of the home team winning. They've got home ice advantage, and they're going to need it after they lost Game 4 in Madison Square Garden to the Rangers 4-1. Head coach Rod Brindamore says they could not shake off their bad start.
It was a tough first period for us, for sure. We gave them the power play there and I got them going right away and gave up a power play goal, So it was just, we kind of did it to ourselves a little bit in the first. After the first, it was we played okay, but it's too late because you spotted them a couple and then you're just chasing the game.
Game 5 is tomorrow night in Raleigh. The series will then shift back to New York for Game 6 on Saturday at MSG. Out west, Evander Kane had his NHL-leading 11th and 12th goals of the postseason, and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins scored a couple. They both powered the Edmonton Oilers past the Calgary Flames 5-3. They now have a 3-1 lead in their second-round series. Tonight, the Avalanche are the home team for Game 5 of their other Western Conference semifinal series. They're going against the Blues. Colorado won Games 3 and 4 in St. Louis, and they have a 3-1 lead in the series, and a win tonight in Denver will put them into the Western Conference Final for the first time since 2002. In the NBA playoffs, Luka Doncic had 30 points and 14 boards as he led the Mavs in a 119-109 win over Golden State in Game 4 of their Western Conference Final series at Dallas. During a press conference before Game 4, Warriors coach Steve Kerr did not want to talk about basketball at all. He was furious about yesterday's mass shooting at a Texas elementary school. He took elected officials to task for stalling universal background check legislation.
We are being held hostage by 50 senators who refuse to even put it to a vote. They won't vote on it because they want to hold on to their own power. It's pathetic. I've had enough.
This is NCN Sports.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon. You wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Our original gold-rimmed homemade vanilla. The country's gold standard of ice cream flavors since 1969. Its hand-cranked taste takes you back to simpler times. That's why we put the word home right on the carton.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, fellow two-time NBA MVP Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, Devin Booker, and Jason Tatum all voted to the NBA All-Star First Team. Milwaukee's Antetokounmpo was the only player to receive all 100 possible first-team votes and finish with 500 points in his fourth consecutive first-team selection. The NFL is currently discussing ways to improve Pro Bowl week that include possibly eliminating the traditional game. According to NFL media, the league is looking for alternative ways to showcase the NFL's best players. Last year's game included several rule changes with the hope of piquing fan interest. Despite the changes, the league's All-Star game has struggled to gain much traction. Players and fans alike apparently prefer to do something other than watch the half-speed game that has nothing at stake. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
We are going to see temperatures stay a little bit below normal for this time of the year. For this afternoon, we'll top in the upper 60s, and some areas to the south could see readings in the lower 80s. We are going to stay mostly dry. However, few spots to the south cannot rule out a few passing showers for today. And tomorrow, highs will be warmer in the low to upper 80s. We're tracking this potent cold front to move through on Friday. That will bring severe storms into the area again. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Cloudy skies and 61 degrees here in Rutherfordton, climbing up to about 77 for a daytime high today, dropping back tonight to around 67, a little warmer than we are right now. It's 6:30. This is WCAB Rutherfordton, serving the foothills of the Carolinas. It's time now for the Word of Faith Fellowship radio program, and with the program this morning is Mark Morris.
Hi, everyone. It's Mark again with Word of Faith Fellowship, and I'm glad you're listening. Today, I want to pick back up on the subject of how the devil masquerades as an angel of light to deceive God's people. So we've been doing a series when I've been on this radio program covering different areas that have been coming into the church that Christians and people who claim to be Christians have been doing. And so some of the things we've been covering is martial arts. We've been covering tattoos, yoga, acupuncture, and talking about how demonic all of these things are and how the devil is trying to use them and come into the church to pull God's people away from what is truth and what is holy living before God. And so today we're going to pick back up and we're going to cover the Masons. Now, some of you may have not heard of that, and some of you may have, and some of you may have been in the Masons or are in the Masons, but I believe that God will show you as we go through this very clearly how demonic the Masons are. And you may know people in it. Sometimes it's a lot of older generation people that have been in it. You may know your grandfather that was in it. And so we'll cover the Masons. And as we go through this, I encourage you just to have an open heart and listen. Let God speak to your heart as God has convicted my heart about this. And then if you know somebody that's in the Masons, you can pray for them. And if God has you share with them, then you can share with them. So here is where we'll start. I want to start off with focusing on an author, John Salsa. John Salsa was a Mason, and he's actually a practicing attorney currently. He's also a Catholic, and so he was involved in the Masons, and he ended up being very convicted by the Holy Spirit that what he was involved with, it was not God, that it was actually against God. And so he wrote a book on it, and he wrote actually several books on it. One of the books is Masonry Unmasked, and the other book is Why Catholics Cannot Be Masons. And so he goes through and takes each part of the Mason beliefs, the practices, and then he puts it up against the Bible, and he points out why you cannot be a Mason if you are a Bible-believing person. And so we're going to go through his book and portions of it because he makes it very clear. And then we're going to, if we have time, we're going to pick back up on another person who wrote a book, and his name is Michael Witkoff, and he also was involved in the Masons. He worked his way up in the Freemasons, and then God came to him miraculously convicted his heart, and he ended up writing a book entitled On the Masons and Their Lies, What Christians Should Know About the Masons. And he also is, actually he's an Orthodox Christian, but he compared the Mason practice to the Bible and even went and did a lot of research on the early authors that wrote about the Masons. And so we're going to dive right in. So what I want to first point out is that the Masons, most people point to the beginning of the Masons being an actual society of Mason builders. These were people in Europe who built the cathedrals and stonemasons and so forth. And so this is a very accepted belief among the Masons that is the origin. The origin was a group of actual Masons that were doing stonework, and they back then sort of a quasi-union. Back then they all got together and they met and they maybe shared their trades and so forth. And so eventually the thing became popular, the group, and it allowed merchants to come in, business people, and then philosophers. And then at some point, the very accepted date is June of 1717. That is when there was the formation of the Grand Lodge in England. And so when there was this uniting of business people and philosophers with the Masons, it took on a whole new structure. And we're going to talk about that. And it took on a structure of philosophy and really became a religion. Now, in the 1700s, that also what was going on in Europe was the Enlightenment period. Now, you can study this yourself, and you'll find out that the Enlightenment period was a time when there was just an enormous focus on human reasoning. In a sense, there was a revolt against the church and against God's word, and actually, John Salsa writes about this because he traces a lot of the Enlightenment thought process into the current Freemason doctrine. And what he writes is that the Masonry believes that all men are saved was influenced by the Enlightenment period in the late 18th century. Okay, and Enlightenment thinkers pursued the knowledge of God solely through the rational study of nature. Man was to use his intellect to determine the truth that he would follow. While these rationalists maintained a generic faith in God, they discarded the revealed truths that were in God's Word. And here's another point that you can actually find out yourself. Here's a theme of the Enlightenment. Reason is the chief source of human knowledge. God is replaced with knowledge. And so there's this concept as the Masons were growing and you had the philosophers joining, was this concept from the Enlightenment that you can actually reach God through your mind, through reason. Reason was taking the place of God's divine word, depending on the Holy Spirit, and you can reason through science to find God. And so that is sort of the basis of the formation of this. And so in society today, they use the word lodge. You may have seen different lodges in your area. And then they have what's called the Grand Lodges, which each state has one. In the United States, there's actually 51 Grand Lodges. And so each lodge is set up with an authority type structure. And so the head of each lodge is called the Worshipful Master. And so there is an actual Masonic Bible. And this Bible holds the principles and the philosophies and really religion of the Masons. You can actually find these Masonic Bibles on Amazon, and you will see that it is absolutely filled with demonic, antichrist statements. And so what John Salsa points out is this. He says the Masonic Bible says, quote, "By the practice of free Masonry, its members may advance their spirituality and mount by the theological ladder from the lodge on earth to the lodge in heaven." Albert Mackey, who's another prominent Masonic author, also says that Freemasonry provides Masons with the means of advancing from earth to heaven, from death to life, from mortal to immortal. Henry Wilson Coyle, another popular Masonic author, says that many Masons get to heaven with, quote, "no other guarantee of a safe landing than their belief in the religion of Freemasonry." Freemasonry advances the spirituality of its members through its secret morals and doctrinal teachings, which are symbolized by the working tools of the old operative Masons. And these include the square, the compass, the level, the plumb, and the trial. The universal symbol of Freemasonry is the square and the compass. So you may have seen these, the symbol of the Masonry, which is a square underneath, a compass on the top, and the letter G. And we'll talk about what the letter G symbolizes. So John Salsa writes about what happened to him when he first became Mason. Now, John Salsa is a devoted Catholic and grew up Catholic, and he is a practicing attorney. And he said that as he was practicing law, he was invited to join the Masons. And he went to his bishops there and asked them, and they really didn't understand what the Masons were, and he did not understand. And so there's this initial discussion when Masons meet with people and try to explain what Masonry is. What they say is that it makes good men better. It makes good men better. And so they try to make it as this positive thing, and they talk about how it unites men together, and everything sounds okay. So John joined this group, and he describes his first meeting in becoming what they call a first-degree Mason. And we're going to go through that. But what he found first was that there is actual Masonic temple. That's the other word for lodge, Masonic temple. And every part of it is set up in a religious way. And so what you have initially is you have a first-degree Mason, a second-degree Mason, and a third-degree Mason. So when John came to the Masonic temple to be initiated, he was deemed what's called a candidate. And he describes his experience. And now what John says is in his research is that this is a very common practice. Now what you should know is this, and if you're listening and maybe you are a member of the Masons, please understand, and John points out in his book, and we're going to read from another author, that it is recognized that every lodge does things a little differently. But what John points out is that what he's going to articulate, what he articulated in this book that I'm going to read, is very, very prevalent in the Masons. So here's what happens to him. He says that he was escorted to a private room. He is first commanded to lay aside all thought of levity and address his mind to the solemn truths he is about to learn. He is then told to strip down to his underwear. In addition to his clothing, the candidate is required to remove all jewelry, including his wedding ring, crucifix, and any other sacramental that he might be wearing. He later learns that he was divested of his religious reminders so that he might, quote, carry nothing offensive or defensive into the lodge. Now, as I've studied this, and I have read several testimonies from different people in other countries, in other parts of the United States, and I've read testimonies of those who were in the Masons and they came out and God dealt with their heart. And what I found was that every one of them said that a procedure that was very similar to this. Now some of the procedures they weren't stripped down to their underclothes. They were actually made to take off the shirt or unbutton their shirt to expose their chest, and we'll find out why. But very similar processes. Now here's what he goes on to say. While some Masons claim that Freemasonry encourages a man to practice his own faith, Freemasonry actually requires the candidate to divest himself of all reminders of his faith, an obvious and blatant contradiction of this claim. And he writes that he writes the very next thing that is going to happen to him in the Mason process is he is blindfolded. Now this is an unusual thing because he's blindfolded and there's actual noose that is tied around his neck. And the rope is 6 feet long. I've read this with other people that were involved, and so the 6 feet represents that when you die, you're going to be buried, and you're 6 feet down. And so there's this symbolism of this process that you're yielding, you're giving up everything that you believe. Every part of you, you're divesting of it to join the Masons and accept what they have. Again, if you're a Mason or you've been a Mason, you might have not had all these processes. But I want you to hear as I'm going through this, even if your process was different, I want you to hear it as we go through this, comparing what this is in light of what God says. And so John was brought to a door, and this is the door of the temple, and he was led by a Mason, and he's blindfolded, and so he is brought to this door, and the person leading him knocks on the door 3 times. And then there's a knock on the other side, and the person calls out, "Who is this?" and he's greeted. The person leading him says, "It is Mr. So-and-so," and he has lived in darkness all his life, and he desires to be enlightened. Now, this is really important to understand this. It doesn't matter if you are somebody who is a born-again believer, if you are somebody who's a committed Christian. When you are led to that door and you knock on that, and your person leading you knocks on that door and announces your name and says, this person has been in darkness, total darkness, all of his life. It's basically saying that it doesn't matter if you believe in Jesus Christ. You're still in darkness until you join the Masons. So even though, John writes, even though the Christian candidate has been baptized into the light of Jesus Christ, therefore receiving sanctifying grace, which is created sharing in the very life of God, he goes on and says, Masonry nevertheless declares that he is in a state of spiritual and mystical darkness. The candidate must die to his former life in Christ and be reborn into the new life of the lodge. It is his initiation into Freemasonry which calls light, which brings him into the light. Now, we know in the Bible that it's very clear that Jesus talked about the light. And here's what he says. He says, I am the light of the world. He that follows me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. The light comes from Jesus Christ and no other. And he says that there is no darkness in him. So John writes, after the declaration of his spiritual darkness, the blindfolded candidate is conducted into the lodge room. After only a few steps, the senior deacon presses a knife or other sharp tool into the candidate's bare breast and declares, on this, your first admission into a lodge of free and accepted Masons, you are received on the point of a sharp instrument piercing your naked left breast, which is to teach you that as this is an instrument of torture to your flesh, so should the recollection of it be to your conscience. Should you ever presume to reveal the secrets of Freemasonry unlawfully. So he writes on that the next step is this. The candidate is then conducted to the center of the lodge room and made to kneel. At this time, the candidate hears Freemasonry's petitions to the grand architect of the universe. While Christians are to pray in the name of Jesus, Freemasonry deliberately omits Jesus' name from its prayers, as it calls upon the deity as the grand architect, and by other similar titles. In this way, the lodge conditions its members to view God according to the Masonic worldview as the deity of any and every religious faith. Even though Jesus' name is above every name that is named, Ephesians 1:21. Masonry calls God the nameless one of 100 names and states that no matter how we pray, we are, quote, yet praying to the one God and Father of all, end of quote. As Masonic author Manly Hall explains, to the true Mason, Christ, Buddha, or Muhammad, the name means little. Thus, Freemasonry denies that Jesus Christ is the one true God and the one mediator of God and men, the man Christ Jesus, who gave himself a redemption for all. And that's 1 Timothy 2:5-6. And so, and also what you should know is that when you join the Freemasons, there's only two requirements. One is that you have to be an adult male, and the other requirement is that you have to believe in a supreme being. You have to believe in a deity. So there's only one group of people that are not allowed, and that is if you're an atheist or perhaps an agnostic. But if you are a Muslim, a Buddhist, a Hindu, if you are a Satanist, you can join the Masons, and you all come together, and so you're together in this temple, and you're supposed to basically lay aside that your religion is the supreme religion so that you can join with everybody else into the Masonic beliefs. So as you're in there, there's this prayer that's going on to what they call the great architect. Now, as I've studied this, I've seen this with everybody that has attested to this, that they actually pray in these temples and they actually invoked the great architect. So John Salsa continues to write, Freemasonry has not only in its own names, it not only has its own names for God, but it also has symbols for God. As we have already mentioned, one of these symbols is the letter G, which stands for both God and geometry. The letter G hangs in the eastern quadrant of the lodge room above the chair of the worshipful master. The newly made Mason is directed to the letter G once his hoodwink is removed. The Masonic Bible says that the letter G represents the great God of all Freemasons. Thus, in the Fellowcraft degree, all Masons bow in worship before the letter G. As Manly Hall explains, a true Mason is the one who worships at every shrine, bows before every altar, whether in temple, mosque, or cathedral, realizing the oneness of all spiritual truth. John continues to write, another of Masonry's symbols for God is the all-seeing eye, which has clear connections to Enlightenment deism. Deists, like all rationalists, reject revealed truth and religious authority in favor of intellectual speculation about God. Deists view God as the all-seeing eye, who, after creating the world, no longer takes an active role in its course. Coyle claims that the all-seeing eye was used by the pagan Egyptians to represent the god Osiris. Now, you can look this up, as I did. The all-seeing eye is in reference to an Egyptian god. Now, you also see the all-seeing eye, interestingly, on our dollar bill, and it's also on some government seals. It's right there in the pyramid. Now, also interestingly, George Washington was a Mason, Benjamin Franklin was a Mason, Thomas Jefferson was a Mason. Remember, this is the 1700s. And remember, there's this belief. You can reference God. We have God in our documents, in the Founding Fathers draftings. But you are not supposed to elevate your religion above others. And so in some of these Masonic temples, you also have the all-seeing eye. That is there listed. Masonry use of the letter G and the all-seeing eye facilitates its syncretistic understanding of deity. This is the deliberate blending of different beliefs or practices without regard to their compatibility with Christian truth. This is the logical consequence of indifferentism, for all religions are equal. There is no problem with mingling them. So that is, in essence, what the Masonic Bible promotes, is that all religions are equal. There's no absolute truth. There's no that Jesus Christ is Lord. He's the only way, as it says in the book of John, that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. And no one comes to the Father but through him. I mean, there's so many scriptures that talk about this in Acts chapter 4, verse 12. And there is salvation in and through no one else, for there is no other name under heaven given among men by which we must be saved. Ephesians 2:8, for you are saved by grace through faith in Jesus Christ. John chapter 3, unless a person is born again, he cannot ever see the kingdom of God. And so, and we also know that the Bible is very clear in Galatians 1:9 that if anyone preaches another gospel, let him be accursed. That means let God's judgment be on him. So John continues to write, in the final analysis, the grand architect of the universe of the Masonic Lodge is not the Holy Trinity, and therefore it is a false god. Thus, Masonry's teachings and practices are an abomination before the one true God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, as revealed by Jesus Christ. And he quotes 1 Corinthians 8, 5, and 6. Yet to us there is but one God, the Father of whom are all things, and we unto him, and one Lord Jesus Christ, by whom all are things, and we by him. Now, John continues to write as he's going through this process of his initiation. After the worshipful master prays to the grand architect of the universe, he places his hand upon the kneeling candidate's head and asks, "In whom do you put your trust?" If the candidate responds with a profession of faith in any supreme deity, the worshipful master declares to him, "Your trust being in God, your faith is well founded. Arise, follow your conductor, and fear no danger." Now, this is actually literally like a play. I mean, people memorize lines. They actually tell the candidate what lines to say. And it's interesting, the title used here is Worshipful Master. I mean, that should be enough to be a major alert for any Christian. Now, this is very important that the worshipful master asks this question to every candidate. With whom do you put your trust? And you're supposed to say what your religion is. Realize that any religion you say, I mean, if you say Allah, if you say Buddha, whatever you say, the worshipful master responds the same way. Here's what he says. He says, your trust being in God, your faith is well founded. That's not what we just read in God's word. Your faith is not well founded unless you have your faith in Jesus Christ and him alone. And so John continues to write, no matter what God the candidate professes, Masonry assures him that his trust is in God and his faith is well founded. After the candidate professes his faith, he is conducted around the lodge room. He is then instructed to approach the Masonic altar, which Masonry calls a place of sacrifice. As the candidate stands blindfolded before the altar, the worshipful master informs him that he is required to take a solemn and binding oath. The worshipful master assures the candidate that there is nothing in the oath that will conflict with his belief in God. And so let's look at these oaths, okay? And it's interesting, John writes, the term place of sacrifice is very appropriate because the candidate at the altar swears by blood oaths and sacrifices his former religious faith for the new religion, faith in Freemasonry. In each of the three Masonic oaths, the candidate swears he will conform his life to the teachings of Freemasonry. Now, here we go. I was shocked when I found these. The candidate swears never to reveal Masonry secrets to profanes. The candidate also swears a curse upon himself that he would be worthy of a grisly death if he ever violated his oath. For example, the candidate swears that he would be worthy of, quote, of having my throat cut across, my tongue torn out, and with my body buried into the sands of the sea, of having my left breast torn open, my heart plucked out and placed on the highest pinnacle of the temple, of having my body severed in twain, my bowels taken thence and burned to ashes, the ashes scattered to the four winds of the heavens, of having my eyeballs pierced to the center with a 3-inch blade, my feet flayed and forced to walk in hot sands. This is so against God. We're supposed to have our allegiance to God and God alone. And so I'm almost out of time, but I want to point out to you this, that at the very end of the process, as John goes through it, he says that he's asked the question, what do you desire most? And you're supposed to say light, and then the blindfold is removed. Well, we know that light comes only in Jesus Christ. It doesn't come through Masonic processes. What I want to do is this. I want to encourage you, if you have ever been involved in the Masons, if you know anybody involved in the Masons, I want to encourage you to those you know, pray for them. If you're involved or if you have been involved, pray and ask God to uproot anything that would still be in your heart with these oaths. The Bible is so clear that we are to fellowship with God's people. They front that this is acts of kindness and goodness, but that is to be done through the church. 2 Corinthians 6 says, do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. Do not make mismated alliances with them or come under a different yoke with them, inconsistent with your faith. For what partnership have right living and right standing with God with iniquity and lawlessness? Or how can light have fellowship with darkness? So the devil comes, masquerades as light, and says that this is going to be a way you can do good works. But God, throughout the Bible, uses the church. The church is the vehicle that God uses. In Ephesians chapter 4, it declares that the church is how we're going to be more transformed into the likeness of God. It says, do not forsake the church. And here it says, do not fellowship with unbelievers. So why would you join yourself, if you're a true believer, to other gods, other people who are practicing gods? Why would you submit yourself to these demonic oaths and take on these practices when God has made the way through his church for you to fellowship with the believers and for you to carry out the works of God and his teachings that God has ordained through the body of Christ? And so I just want to encourage you today, go to God and ask God to show you. We've been in this series, and as it says in Romans 14, verse 23, whatever does not originate and proceed from faith is sin. So ask God to show you anything in my life that does not originate from you, God. I want it out. Thank you for listening. Again, this is Word of Faith Fellowship radio program. We're on this program Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 8:30 to 9. And you can go to our website and see all of our past radio programs. They're videoed. Our website is wordoffaithfellowship.org. Thank you very much.
Get your message to the thousands. Call the WCAB Sales Department